Hello guys, it's Keep here, and in today's video we're going to dual boot the macOS Tahoe version 26.2 and Windows 11. As you can see right here, this is my Windows 11 IoT Enterprise long term. So we are going to dual boot this one on the same disk, and we're not going to use different types of SSD but only one. So let's get started. First of all, we need to go to the requirements. So let me just show you first my specification. You can see this one is the Intel Core i3 8100, and this is the code name of this machine is Coffee Lake. So, and also we have 16 GB, and the window edition is the 11 IoT Enterprise LTSE evaluation. So let me just pull my Firefox, okay, and go to the requirements. First of all, you need to download the mini tool partition, and you can just download the free version, it will work. And the second thing you need to have is the Explorer plus plus. Also it comes in handy. And the other thing is the balena etcher, which we'll use to create a bootable USB. But for me, I tend to use the Win32 imager. So but this is just for preference purpose. If you need to use the balena etcher, well and good. If you need to use the Win32 imager, well and good. Also, if you need to use the recovery method, that's also is good. I'll leave a link in the description to the Dotania guide, sorry. And here is the guide. And I've seen a lot of people asking me why I don't use this method, and I've just said that in my previous video. This method, I can use this method, but the downside of this method for me individually is the internet. So our internet here is something else. So that's why I'm not going with this method, but it's something I will want to do if I get a good internet. So for now, we're just going to download the Olarilla image, which this one, if I download it, it will take me at least 2 days for it to complete. So that's something that you can just understand. Okay, so let's continue. So but if you want to the recovery method, I'll leave a link in the description where you can just get the tutorial and then you can install via that. But today we're going to use the Olarilla image. And if you don't know how to make your EFI, you can just come here and get the pre-made EFI from the Olarilla forum. So depending on your system. So let me just go, and you can see right here I already installed the Win32 imager. So let's create, and also here is my Tahoe 26,2. So just let us open it, and I've just formatted my USB. It is a 64 gigs USB. So let me just, this is the this one. So let me just select where my image is. Yes. And then go to the desktop and change this one to all files. Select the Tahoe 26.2 and then just write continue, and that one will write our image to my USB. And the next thing before I forget, oh sorry, here is my EFI. I've already created it, and here is the Explorer plus plus. So the next thing, we need to partition our hard disk. So we can use also the mini partition tool for that. So let me just open it and do just that, so that we can have the partition for macOS and also for Windows. So let's just do that, as this one is creating our bootable USB, and do the partition from the control panel, so that we can just, let me just open my control panel, so we can just partition from there. Go to system and security, and then come down to Windows tool and create and format hard disk. I think that recovery mini tool has some issue, so let us use this one, the disk management. So let's wait for it to connect. So guys, as you can see right here, this is our 256 HDD, and we only have one partition. This one is the EFI and this one is the recovery. So what we're going to do, we're going to shrink this volume right here. So just right click and then shrink volume, and let's wait for it to, so I'll just need let's go with 95 GB like so, and then click on shrink. So you can see this is our unallocated disk, so this one which we're going to use the Mac. So come here and then hit on new, simple, continue, and then let's go with Mac HD. Leave it at NTFS for now. We're going to format it later, so just continue, finish. And as you can see down here, we have our local disk F, and we have done that. So guys, let's wait for this one to finish with the writing of the image, and then I'm going to copy my EFI to my USB via the Explorer++ app, and then we can install the Dualboot of macOS Tahoe and Windows 11. So okay folks, so as you can see right here, we have the write is completely successful. So let us hit on OK and exit our Win32 disk imager. The next step is to open Explorer++, run it as an administrator like so. So let me just minimize it for a bit and open mini tool partition. After that, you need to, after this one is as open, just come here to our USB that is done, and then come here to EFI. Make sure you change the letter. So come here, change the letter, make sure it's not available. So I'll go with O, and then just apply, click on apply. That one is done. So just copy the EFI and then open our, you can see that right here our EFI has popped up. Just open it and paste it our EFI. So wait for it to do its thing. Then after that, you need to just close it and make sure. So let's wait for it. Okay, so it's done. You need to close this one and then go back to mini tool partition, highlight on the EFI partition, right click, and then change letter again. Make sure the drive letter is none, and that's done. Apply. So guys, our USB is ready to boot the macOS Tahoe for the dual boot. So let me just show you that. We're going to install here on this Mac HD. So after that, let me just go to my phone and then we can install. So okay folks, so as you can see right here, this is our USB that we just created, and I'm going to plug it into my Hackintosh right here, and then we can install our Tahoe. So let me, and then hit on like so, and on your keyboard just hit on F12, and then you will be greeted with something like this depending on your CPU. So I'll just choose my UEFI Kingston Data Traveler, hit on enter, and this is what I'll be greeted with. So this is our Windows. As you can see right here, this is our Windows and this is our install macOS Tahoe. So I'm gonna install Tahoe and we'll leave Windows alone. So we can enable to Dualboot. So there we go. You can see our bar down there. So let's wait for it to load our Tahoe. Then we can continue. So anytime from now our mouse cursor will appear, and there we go. So as you can see right here, we have our mouse cursor. The next thing we need to do, go to disk utility, continue, and let me just show all devices. And if you remember correctly, in our previous video we format our macOS HD, so I'm going to erase it, and then I'm going to choose our PFS like so, and then I'm going to erase and click on done, then close disk utility, and then come here to install macOS Tahoe, and then continue, agree, continue, and then here choose a macOS HD, continue. So that it will take time for it to install, and I'm not going to show you all the process, so let me just pause the video and then come back when it's done. Okay guys, so this is our macOS Tahoe, and you can see, let me just pull on disk utility, and you can see this is just internal. It is just one storage, and this is 256 gigs right here, and it has two partitions. This one is for Windows and this one is for Tahoe. So we are successfully dual boot the macOS Tahoe and Windows 11. So guys, that is for this video. I'll leave the link for the EFI in the video description, and I'll see you in the next one.